Kevin Coutu from PopnDrop. And then after that, I'll be doing a 20-minute tactic on an alignable profile makeover. Our member business showcase is Kevin Coutu from PopnDrop. If you want to search him up on Alignable, I've got his URL right there. Kevin is a managing director at APL Go. He's had several businesses over the years in the audio video technology side of things, event management, and theater industries. And he's worked with highly recognized clients, including TIFF, Toronto Metropolitan University, and Heather Bambrick. Jumping ahead to today, Kevin is building a solid business and has had success in many different countries, helping people to improve their health and improve their finances. Kevin, it's great to have you here, and let's dig in.
Thanks, Len. Thanks so much for making this opportunity available to me and to the rest of our alliance. I think it's a great way to really get to showcase each other.
Excellent. So I've got a few questions. The first question is kind of like, tell us a little bit about the background. Like, what have been some of the experiences that have led you here today? Tell us about some of the twists and turns and the roadblocks that maybe you've faced.
Sure, sure. For a number of years, as you mentioned, I did AV tech and theater and event planning and event management in Toronto, and it was going great. I had roughly about 5 different active contracts where I was subcontracted out by various people to do this work, and everything was flying. I was just getting 2 more on the go, and then March 19th, 2020 hit. Um, that was the that was the day that I set up the very last event that I would be involved in. It was for the National Ballet of Canada. We set everything up, and overnight, I got email message saying, "Come back, we got to tear it all down because the event's canceled because of COVID." And so now that day, everything else disappeared. So I lived in Toronto. I had a condo. I stayed in it as long as I could, and kind of had that conversation with myself. Okay, so if this continues, if this goes beyond the 2 months, right? um, well, I'll be okay. But if it any longer than that, I'm gonna have to sell. August came around. I decided I had to sell, moved out, and moved back to the Niagara region where my family is. I was depressed. I was wickedly depressed. And then a friend of mine gave me a call and said, "I've got this business. I want you to take a look at it." So she sent me the information. And I'd seen some of her posts in the past, and quite frankly, I thought, "Joby, what snake oil are you pushing? This is candy nutrition. What are you talking about? This doesn't make sense, right?" And so, but I respect her, and I looked at it. So I looked at it, and it started to make sense because it was about the absorption of the nutrients. And I was very familiar with sublingual type of medication. And I thought, well, I'm gonna give it a try. And it totally changed my mood, and it's providing me with an income where um I had been thinking about what am I gonna do next? Because all my experience brought me to getting large groups of people together in one room. And I didn't want to be vulnerable to that anymore. I wanted to make a change. So it was perfect timing for me, and I'm so happy that she ended up inviting me to take a look.
Excellent. Yeah. It's funny how that date in March 2020, everyone sort of remembers what they were doing that day,
Yeah.
right? I was getting ready for a show too as a performer, and my wife was actually in the middle of a theater run, and they got
Wow.
locked out. She went to the theater and no one let her in. So yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Mm.
Um, so now you're basically selling candy, and how do you tell people about what you
Don't do that
do?
when we want to
Yeah,
book a drink,
I timed that one perfectly. So
right?
so
So
when
basically,
people
you're a
ask you,
pusher. Um, Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Sorry,
So
sorry.
when people ask you, what do you do? Like when you're at a party
Mhm.
or a networking event and stuff, and they say, so what do you do? What do you tell them, and how do they react?
I literally say that I sell nutritious candy, and then I just wait because it's funny. There is a I don't know if there's like a pop of a nerve in the brain or something pops in the brain, and you can see it on their face. I just wait for it, and like, wait, what? And that's what and you know what, that's the key to my success is, everybody struggles to get a good elevator pitch. And the fastest you can get someone's attention onto what you're selling or what you're doing, the more success you're going to have. And I think that's key because it literally wakes them up out of their laundry list of doing groceries or whatever thing they have in their brain when I go to talk. Because many people do that. We all do it really. When it's like, oh, I know what he's going to say. Okay, so I need to do this and this and this, right? So it pops them right out of that. And then they listen. And then I go on to explain it's more than just candy. They're supplements in a lozenge format. There's DNA from various botanicals are infused in the drops. They're sublingual. They're absorbed the highest efficiency of absorption of all supplements on the face of the planet.
It's amazing. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I can relate to that, having that moment of confusion, right? You sell healthy candy, and those are two words that don't normally fit together. So yeah, there's some collisions of neurons going on. So in the way that you run your business, what's the hardest part about this? It sounds like selling candy is pretty easy, right? But what's the challenge that you face?
The challenge that I face, even personally and with others, is mindset.
Mm,
So many of us are in an employee mindset. Right? So what's the company going to do for me? Okay, I'll join. What's the company going to do for me? Or what are you going to do for me? Or what? And then what people have to realize is that the beauty of being an independent owner is that you make those choices. So if you don't feel that the company is being generous enough to you, well, you're the company, right? So be
mm,
generous to yourself. Give yourself a day off. Buy something nice for yourself. Promote yourself, right? And so um that's the hardest mindset to help people through, is to make that transition. And that's honestly, that's where most failures occur in business, are when people are making that transition and either they don't have a coach to help them through, or they just give up and go back to the stable 9 to 5.
mhm.
Because let me just that might have seemed like a bit of a mental jump without some contextual information. The second half of my business is I also open up my business that others can join it. So I help them start up a business doing the same thing. I coach them through the process, and help them change their finances as well as their health.
Let's let me explore that a little bit. So prior to this, with APL Go, you were a contracted sound engineer, technician stuff. Do you feel like that experience prepared you to be your own boss as well?
Yes, because I was my business, right? So those contracts, just as you would for any company, and I set my terms and I set what I wanted to do, and where I could, I set the fee. Some were based on industry standards, so there wasn't much of an alteration. But I picked and chose the dates that I wanted to the dates that I wanted to work, the hours that I wanted to work, and quite frankly, who I wanted to work with, which I
Mhm.
think is the most important of it all.
And so now when people are interested in doing the same thing, you're applying those same principles to help people sort of
Yep.
break away from the employee mindset, right?
Exactly. And the thing with employee mindset is that we're stuck in things have to occur sequentially in a certain time slot. where the beauty about running your own business is that you literally can do it anytime you want. And you can break it up and do personal stuff in the middle. And it's that freedom. And that's what I love the most, is that, if I've got something to do that's important to me, I just block out the time in my calendar and I go. There's no asking, there's no permission sought. Vacations I choose on my own. Um, employers might pay you for a vacation, in terms of they pay for the time that you're away, only because they have to, but they certainly don't pay for your vacation, right? So,
Mhm, mhm.
um, it's 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 the beauty of having all that freedom. Yeah, that I try. What I try to do is I try to illustrate all the absolute benefits of it, so there's enough of a carrot for people to say, hey, you know what, this is actually a better option. And nobody leaves their work until they're ready. Like, I never recommend that anybody leave their 9 to 5 job until they feel stable enough. This is not about the whole entry to this type of work is side gig mentality. um and keep building it until the point where it's like, then you have the choices, and one of those choices could be to leave your job. And some people choose not to because they happen to like it, and that's fine too.
It's all about having options,
That's right.
right? Can you share some of your like success stories? Are there uh, any of your customers or perhaps some of these other business owners that you've helped mentor that have seen some incredible results?
Oh, absolutely. So with our drops, there's 18 different kinds. And they help various different health concerns, everything from blood sugar, blood pressure, to mental focus, gut health, weight loss, sleep, you name it. And so this one new person, actually, she started, and she has rheumatoid arthritis, she has severe back issues. She was about to go get her second operation done with carpal tunnel. um, and she started taking SLD and STP, which are the two ones for inflammation and pain. And within 2 weeks, she determined she had full range of movement in her hand and her thumb. Her pain in her back had completely reduced, and she could feel the reduction of the inflammation. And that was within 2 weeks of starting taking the supplements. So it was just like night and day for her. She starts talking about, she gets choked up, I get choked up. We're both a mess. Um, my mother had issues with digestion, and she started taking HPR, which is like a gentle liver detox, and now she has no issues. She goes regularly. To me, there's nothing more annoying than having an upset stomach or a gut that's not working. That's off, you're off. And now she functions normally, and which is amazing.
Incredible, incredible.
Mm.
Um, I have a couple more questions, and can we talk a little bit about what APL Go as a corporation looks like,
Sure.
and how does it support you as a business
Okay,
yourself? Yeah,
cool. So APL Go started 12 years ago. The owner of the company was introduced to the very first product invented by an Italian doctor, which was the RLX, the one for anxiety, calmness. And he was a fearful flyer. So his friend handed him one of these candies. He popped it in his mouth. He was calm the entire flight. At the end of the flight, he looked at his friend and said, "What did you give me? Who makes it? I want a meeting with him." So, fortunately for this whole thing, Sergey was a millionaire already, so he could say things like, "I'm going to buy the company," right? And he did. He brought it back. He opened up a processing plant in Moldova, and our office is centered in Cyprus. And they support us with, they manage all the logistics, they manage the inventory, they manage the shipping, they manage the branding, the certifications in various countries. They manage all of the payments out to the business owners. They develop the commission program. They manage the website. They do promos for business owners and for customers that are incredibly generous. Um, and they're there for us whenever we have a question. There's either an email or a text message that we can send, and we'll have a message within 24 hours responding to whatever question that we may have. Like, are we open in this country yet? Or are we open there? Right. And so far, we're open in 50 different countries. The beauty about what he has done, which is unlike many other companies, we're actually able to sell product and register people in any of those countries. So wherever APL Go is based, and if we know someone who lives in that country, they can buy from us, or they can actually sign up and sell themselves
Because it has a centralized shipping area, right?
in each country.
In each
So
country.
each
Okay.
country, there's yeah. And so that's the two prongs of starting up a country is one, getting through all of the legal stuff that needs to get done based on those countries, and either not only with their business government stuff, but also with their health stuff. Once you get beyond that, then it's setting up either a regional sales center, and that's usually an associate like myself who opens up almost like a mini warehouse, or they actually are going to be big enough so they'll go to a 3PL and they'll make a contract with a 3PL to inventory and ship.
And sounds like that's something that could easily scale, you know, country by country
Yeah,
very quickly. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Now, what's coming up for you, Kevin, in the next, say, 6 to 12 months? What's happening, whether it's personally or business wise or both?
Mhm.
Um, that's exciting. What's coming up?
Cool. Just in 10 days, like I told you earlier, I'm off on a flight to Dubai. We're going on a cruise from Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Qatar, and this island animal reserve called Surbani Yas, and then back to Dubai. Um, and we just launched this new app. It is like, have you heard of I think it's 75 Hard or something like that? It's a program where it challenges you to with your motivation to exercise, to be kind of like the best person you can be. We developed a very similar one called Score 44, a little bit easier to do, but still challenges you. And it has this whole, like, they give out prizes to the users, to the coaches. It's quite amazing what they've done with that. And then in the new year, we're getting a new app, and it's going to be an iridology app. So if you're what iridology is it's a science of your irises, and literally your eyes are your windows to your body, and through studying of the eyes, they can determine different health concerns that you have, or supplemental shortages, vitamin shortages that you may have. Well, they're developing an app so that can help us with our customers and say, here, let me send me your picture of your iris, and I'll let you know what you need, right? So it takes the guesswork out of it. And because our drops are instantly absorbable, people will actually recognize the difference really quickly what changes in their iris. So we're super super excited about that, and the company is redoing all of the customer facing website for us. They're updating the customer program, so it's going to be something like find three and it's three, or so if you refer three customers who buy product, then your monthly shipment is free. So really creating that referral based system, but from a situation where customers are like, hey, I don't want to build the business, but I just want to be a customer. Is there a benefit to me? Absolutely. We have this great program. You can be able to get your stuff for free. So that's gonna, like, our company is just gonna soar. We're at last year they did 234 million. The year before was 215 million. I don't know what it's going to be for this year because we're already breaking records, so it's probably going to be somewhere around 280. Next year is going to be off the chain.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing. And just, you've only been in this business since COVID, since
2
2020,
years.
two
Yeah,
two
2 years.
years.
Yeah, it's only been in North America for 3.
Amazing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so I've got two more questions. Um, Before the last question, which is how can people get in touch with you? I just want to sort of try and have you summarize all of this up into one big idea. What's the one message or big idea that you'd want people to take away from this interview?
Sure. Health is important. It's the only thing that when it goes wrong, you you can only have so much money, right? You know what I mean? There's just so health is super important. We need to take better care of ourselves. We oftentimes, especially as business owners, we step over our health for our business. Um, so supplementation is huge. If you're not going to get my supplements, that's fine. Just take supplements. The Know that your average tablet capsule based supplement is only going to be absorbed up to 25% in your stomach compared to the 99%. So if you want to, if you're cool with that older way of getting your supplementation, do it. At least better than nothing. Um, if you want to upgrade to the new technology, we can have that conversation. And you can reach me at popnDrop.biz. There is a contact me app or pop up that shows up on that website, and you can get me there or through Alignable directly. Either way. But yeah, we need to stop. We need to. I don't know what's happening with healthcare in our country. There's in our province specifically. There seems to be a desire to want to privatize it. Uh, I fear that's going to put us in a situation where uh, um, health is even more of a barrier because it is based on income. Um, so I think it's all that more important that we take care of ourselves now in the event that that does happen. We don't have to worry about it as much.
Yeah. Um, what you said about people putting their business over their health, and I can relate to that. And it's an interesting thing that as soon as your health becomes a problem, everything else stops, doesn't it? I twisted my knee a month and a half ago, and all of a sudden I'm working on this, I'm doing that, and everything changes. Whereas with the prevention, maintaining a certain level of health just allows you to keep going. Yeah. Thanks. And thank you for leaving the information about how to reach you on your website, popnDrop.com
Biz.
biz,
Yeah.
and your Alignable profile. You're very active on Alignable, so it's always easy to get you there.
Yeah.
Any other ways, any other social profiles that you want to tell people about?
I'm not real honestly, I'm sorry. This is my biggest weakness. Well, maybe it's an exaggeration. I probably have bigger ones, but um social media. I would be fine if social media didn't exist. You know what social media is good for? Birthdays. It reminds me when people's birthdays are. Um,
Fair enough.
I post now and again. It's not like I know there are some people. I think it's about who you have as followers, a lot of it. Um, and it's something you gotta want to work at, right? To get those followers. But for me, I post something and my friends are like, whatever. I post something about my dog and I got 3,000 likes. You know what I mean? So, um, it's yeah. So no, those are the best ways to get hold of me.
All right, sounds good. That's it for my questions. I'm going to open the floor to the other attendees to see if anyone else has some questions. Um, I know there aren't a lot of people, and I'm also being conscious of the time. But are there any questions for Kevin before we move on to the second part of the meeting?
I have a question for Kevin. Thank you for sharing. I thoroughly enjoyed what you have shared with us, Kevin. I'm a wellness coach and mindset trainer. So a
Oh,
lot of what you've been saying, I certainly gravitated to. What I'm curious about is that you're mentioning that there's infrastructure in the various countries where your product is being sold. So when it comes to Canada and coming through the government, in, because I know that when it comes to supplements that you buy at a health store, that there's big issues where the government's taking a little bit more control over what's in those products. I'm just curious as to how is the government, the relationship with the rules and regulations is going with your product
We
and the
have
boundaries.
we have a company that is and I know a little bit more on the inside because I'm on the Canadian mastermind group for with the company. So I get to know a lot of the stuff that happens in Canada before it's known by the field. Um, we have a company, when we have a Canadian lawyer that's working with us, and we also have this company who their sole focus is getting products approved. So they have an amazing relationship with Health Canada, and they're working on our behalf on everything.
Excellent.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
It's the challenge with a lot of companies when it comes to their product is not so much the ingredients, it's the claim, right? So other
Okay.
countries
Okay.
are free to say things like in say, I don't know, in Eastern Europe, you know, they could say, oh, this cures cancer because there's nothing, right? There's no regulation, there's no uh I'm not saying that the product does. What I'm saying is that in Canada, we can't even come close to saying that, even if it were true, unless the company pays for a double-blind clinical trial that's multiple tested.
Mhm.
Because there's no requirement for supplement companies to do that, no supplement company is going to take the money to do that, right?
Right.
If we are forced to do that in Canada, because there is a conversation about that too, then the supplement companies, if they want to sell in Canada, they're going to have to get those studies done. So it's, I don't look at it as the government is restricting. I look at it as the government is protecting. Because
Quality control.
yeah, because I've seen stuff go on the market that's just, I'm not going to mention anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no. Don't have to.
Thanks.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, you're muted,
Eddie,
Eddie.
you're still muted.
True. My question is, what's your favorite and why?
What's my favorite drop and why? Right
Yep.
now, I would have to say my favorite one is called PFT. It's our weight loss one. I've lost over 20 pounds in 2 months. I didn't change anything in my diet. I didn't change anything to exercise. So that's definitely
That's
my
your
favorite.
newest one, isn't
That's
it?
our newest one. That's right. I don't know if you've noticed, but this is narrower than it was a few months ago.
Actually, Kevin, I was going to ask you what other products does the company have?
Ah, yeah, we also have a great skincare line that's made in Germany. It's all natural. There's none of the nasty ingredients in it, and it has the botanicals in it that are commonly found in our drops that are helpful for our skin. We look at our skincare as skin food, really.
Hmm.
You're feeding your skin from the outside as well as you're feeding your skin from the inside. And oddly enough, we have a coffee. It is a yep, it is a instant coffee and it's good. It tastes like an Americano, right? So
Oh.
yeah, it's easy to make it, especially if you just want one cup, right? Instead of making a whole pot.
Mhm.
Um, and we're about to come out with we're getting some other products in North America. We're getting some teas that are all limited herbal blends and some bars, some snack bars. And our skincare line is about to expand by getting those, those under eye patches, if you've probably seen them. So we're getting those, and then some facial thing. So lots happening next year, a lot.
Really neat. Really cool. Cool.
Mm. The
Keep
skincare is not officially available in Canada yet. the drops you can get in when we were starting, you can get in without having the approval of the government, and then you work and get all your paperwork done. The skincare, they're like, if you sell skincare in this country and you're not registered, you'll never be able to sell it again. So we're not selling skincare yet, but I can still get it because I live close to the border. So I have a mailbox out in Niagara Falls, New York, that I ship stuff to, and then I just bring it over for myself. But that's coming. That's going to be available in Canada soon. That one is in the process of getting approval. Thank you very much. I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Kevin, for
Appreciate the
sharing. That
time.
was really insightful.
Thank you.
Okay. And now something completely different. I've been looking at a lot of new members on Alignable and seeing a lot of missed opportunities. So I thought that I would take 20 minutes today to go through an Alignable profile makeover. And if you've sat through any of my presentations before, you know that I'll try and pack 45 minutes into 20. So we're going to go super fast. Is everyone ready? Good. What we'll be covering today, part one, at a high level, we're going to look at all of the editable components of your profile and how they work. And then at a granular level, some ways to optimize and leverage each of those components to attract better connections. That's why we're here on Alignable, to build our network so that we can find better referrals. So let's first talk about your editable components. I'm not going to do any side-by-side comparisons. I'm just going to be talking. You can go back to your own profile and see these things in action. But the editable components of your profile include the main business profile. That's your name, location, logo, banner, and graphics up at the top of your page. Under that, you have your ideal customer. Under that, you have your ideal referral partners, your About Us section. Sometimes you have promotions, products and services that you offer, gallery of images, your personal profile, which has your name, phone number, email address, and stuff like that. Your team, which is anyone else that's connected with your business, but also has your personal user information. Now let's talk about what those elements can do. The larger text fields, such as About Us and our ideal customer, are large fields. You can support up to 1,000 characters of text, including emojis. URLs that you type into that section will be converted into clickable links. And that's something that you can really leverage for traffic to your website or landing pages or other assets. Formatting, such as bold, italic, and underlined, isn't supported, but Unicode formatted text is supported. Now, what is Unicode formatted text? That is basically when each character is encoded with a different format. I can show you all how to do that later on. But for now, let's just assume that formatting is not supported. Now, tags are an often misunderstood element of our profile. And having an accurate tag is vital to your profile, because this is how Alignable finds people to suggest to your profile, right? So using the suggested tags instead of creating new ones helps you to be part of a specific group of users that Alignable already knows who to match with. So when you click on, if you want to know who's in that group, for example, click on a tag of a contact to see other people that have that same tag. And that will give you an idea if that's the right industry or the right type of name that you want to include in your tags so that you're associated with that group of people. Premium members get more tags for their profile. They can have, I think it's 2 extra tags per section. Now let's optimize and leverage the profile. And I know I'm going fast, and maybe someday I'll do like a more hands-on visual thing, but you can add a banner graphic similar to a Facebook page or a LinkedIn profile, which sits above your logo, name, and company name. And it's free advertising space. It's free marketing space. Use that graphic to show people what you do. Also, use a personal photo of yourself for the logo image. A lot of times people will just put their own company logo in there, and that's okay, except the logo image is the picture that most people will see in other places on the platform, like in group discussions or direct messages. So if you use a personal photo, it helps build some recognition and visibility. Use the same or a similar personal photo for your user profile image. And that's also somewhere where, especially in chat messages, instead of just having the circle with your initials in it, people will actually see your face. It really helps to make a more personal connection with people as you're using the platform. And then add and check that your website and Facebook page are properly listed. Many times I'll go to someone's profile and click the link to their website, and they've got a typo in it, or they've missed a letter or something, and it comes up with, page cannot be found. Same with Facebook. People will put in their Facebook URL and maybe they've missed part of the URL or something, and it comes up, no page here. So add it and double check it. And I already talked about adding a banner graphic. This appears to be the same slide. So, okay, recommendations. Try to get at least 5 recommendations as quick as you can, because that will display the highly recommended on Alignable badge on your profile. I'm not sure why 5 is the criteria for highly recommended, but I guess they wanted to make that an easy thing to achieve pretty quickly. And also write recommendations for people. I think this is on my next slide here. Yeah, send genuine recommendations to motivate others to return the favor. And when I say genuine, don't make up stuff as if you've worked with this person, if you've really just met them. But if you've had any kind of interaction with them, or that you believe that they're doing well with their business, talk about that. Just be truthful. You don't have to candy code anything, but leaving a recommendation with a written recommendation instead of just a thumbs up goes quite a long way, and people will return the favor. Also, I encourage you to like and share other people's recommendations, because it spreads goodwill and it gets attention. Anytime that you share anything on LinkedIn, on Alignable, everyone in your network sees that, whether it's in their notification list or on their homepage feed. And by sharing other people's profiles, it generates a great deal of goodwill and attention. And then finally, if you are a premium member, you can spotlight a recommendation that someone has sent to you. And that spotlight recommendation goes right up at the top of your profile. So people will see that just underneath your business name and graphic. It's a great way to sort of show some social proof about you and your company. In the ideal customer field, I'm not sure how many times I've seen an answer like everybody, or anyone who's interested in this. First of all, no, not anybody and everybody. Describe your ideal customer in great detail. You have 1,000 characters to do this, right? Talk about their pain points and their desires and their goals, and how you can help them with that. Identify who is best to work with you. And you have 1,000 characters, so use them all. In your ideal referral partner, This is more crucial for the Alignable algorithm to understand who they should be trying to connect you with. At the same time as you're being shown people to connect with, and they're trying to match you up, other people are seeing you on their list of recommended connections. So you want to make sure that you're getting the right kinds of people connected with you. And use the About Us section as your introduction. Even though that section is near the bottom of the page or halfway down the page, this is interesting. The beginning of the About Us section actually shows up as preview text when somebody hovers over your ID, or if they're seeing you on a list in a directory. The first 75 characters or 80 characters of your About Us section appear under your name, company, and city location, almost like a little preview. So think about how you introduce yourself in the About Us section. All the written text is SEO content for Google, Bing, and other search engines. So when people search for your business name, there's a very high chance that your Alignable profile is going to be on the first page of Google or whichever search engine they're on, because alignable.com in and of itself has a very high domain authority. And so your profile being on that platform automatically gets a lot of attention in search engines. A lot of people don't even think about using the gallery on their profile, but this is a great way to demonstrate what you do, how you do it, and who you do it for. Think of it almost as if you're having your own private Instagram feed, right? This helps people to visually connect and imagine themselves with your product or in your service. You can add a short description to each of those images in your gallery, but URLs do not turn into links here. Links only work in the text fields. And now here's a tip too. Update your profile regularly to focus on connections and show up in your connections home, timeline, and notifications feed. Every time you update your profile, everyone that you're connected to gets that information that says, Kevin has just updated his About Us section. Do you know anyone who connects or who would like to see that? A new feature is actually that you can now comment on people's pages. It doesn't show up on their page, but you can comment on someone's About Us section or Ideal Customer section. That was a lot of information very quickly. I went through that very quickly. Does anyone have any questions about that? Or would anyone like to see those sections on my profile, for example? I'm okay using myself as a guinea pig, or...
Yeah, please show us your profile.
Sure. All right. Let me bring up my other page. Okay, my business. So I am a premium member, so there's a couple of things on my profile that you might not see if you aren't a premium user. This is the graphic banner that I was talking about. And I have to admit, I did not know that it was there when I first set up my profile. It was when I went back and edited my profile that I saw the option of uploading a graphic. But now that I have it there, all I have to do is click on it to bring up this little window that, you know, I can change or remove my picture. And I probably will, because this event ended yesterday. So I'm going to change that, but I don't know where the graphic is that I'm going to use. So I'm not going to do it right now. This is the main section. So this is technically a logo image. This is what they call the logo image. If I click on that, it says your logo. But this shows up a lot more than this image. They both are used on the platform, but this is the one that shows up most of the time in your communities and groups listings. And if you haven't joined any groups and started conversations, you're missing out on a big part of the value of Alignable. I'm talking to you, Kevin. I know you're such an introvert. So this is the logo image, but I highly recommend using a photo of yourself. These are my tags. As a premium user, I get 3. As a free user, you'd have 1. So choose those carefully. Now, let's say I wanted to edit my profile and change one of those tags. So I have my name, street address, and date established. Here are category tags. This is what Alignable is using to connect as referrals. So when someone says, I want to meet marketing people, the algorithm goes, okay, your referral partner is marketing people. Who do we have in the marketing category to match you with? So that's the hook on the end of the fishing line. At the same time, you have the featured tags. These are sort of 2 additional ones, and then your search tags, which is a premium feature, and they are not listed here, but these are ways that I can have people search for me. If someone searches in the Alignable search box for marketing software, for example, these 2 tags will help me show up in that list. This is a marketplace services. This is a new feature. Well, it's been out for a few months. Again, I think it depends on the industry that you are in, whether you are in the market. It's mostly for like technology, to be honest. This is my spotlighted recommendation. So without that, there would be nothing here.
You are my spotlighted recommendation.
Oh, I think I had you spotlighted for a little while too. I try to mix it up a little bit here and there. Here's the ideal customer. So again, you can see that, emojis work, and sometimes this is just to help people get their attention, right? And if you click edit, a couple of things here you want to address. Your customers are primarily businesses or consumers. Most of Alignable is a B2B network, but it also helps to identify where your customers are located, if they're local, regional, or national. And this is the ideal customer text, which is 1,000 characters. At 1,000 characters, you can't type anymore. Emojis basically count as 2 characters, so use them strategically. And then I also mentioned that there's a way to copy and paste in Unicode text, and that's how I got this uppercase bold text. I can show you a link how to do that. And then there's a whole bunch of other tags here. These are the types of customers that I want to be referred to, and you can type in anything here. So supplements. I would highly recommend selecting from a list rather than creating a new category, because it would be a category of 1 until other people start using it. Same thing with your tags at the top. So marketing automation was something that didn't come out right away, but I added it, and then I think a lot of other people started adding it. And now if I click on marketing automation, I'll see probably a bunch of people that use that same tag.
And can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, when it comes to you hit a button with me. You were mentioning that this is for business to business. So
Mostly.
Okay. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that.
That's okay. We're all
We all got it. It was it's a test.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so what I'm thinking is, because I'm a wellness coach as well as a mindset trainer, I have 2 streams. I can talk about pain points for an individual when it comes to whatever's happening in their life, or I could focus it from a mindfulness as to the benefits for a business. So when it comes to Alignable, should I be focusing on the pain points for a business? Like I'm not quite Because I think I took the individual road, and I'm thinking I could have probably get more hits if I talked pain points for a business.
I think so. I think that would certainly help distinguish you um, against every other mindfulness and wellness
Okay.
coach on the platform. And there are a few, maybe more than a few. But if you are kind of addressing it from a business perspective, from the, I'm not sure exactly what that angle is, but that could actually help draw more people in, because I think it might even lower the barrier of entry
Ah,
if they're approaching it, from the business side of things, instead of what I would assume is a very emotionally
charged.
reserved place to say, okay, I need help personally. But someone might say, like in my business mindset, um,
This is how it can
this is
benefit me
yeah,
or our organization. Okay, I
right,
got it. Thank you.
right.
That's good. Okay.
I know we only have a couple more minutes, so I'll fly down the rest of this. This is the referrals, like who do I want to partner with, and a description here. And again, links work. So just put in a URL and it turns into a link automatically. Be specific about who you want to work with or who you want to be partnered with, because again, the algorithm picks those things up and will recommend you to other people. Same thing with the tags. The tags, I've actually duplicated many of my tags as text just to cover that. The About Us section. So as I said, the beginning of your About Us section actually appears as introduction text when you show up on like a community or a group directory. And also when people want to connect with you. So that can be a very important line here. And links work. My screen's frozen. Why is my screen frozen? Okay. And how we got started. This, a lot of people don't fill this part in. And I think that this is an important section to really personalize. Simon Sinek always says, start with why. And I think the reason why you do something is probably more important than what you do for some people. So use this space to really make it real, talk about your history, talk about what drives you to do this, and it will resonate with people. People check out your profile all the time, and unless you're a premium user, you don't see that. As a premium user, you get statistics to see who's clicked on your profile, how many times, how recently, and they do check it out before
You
they
can see
connect with you.
exactly who's stalking you.
Exactly, yes. Yes. There's the recommendations. I don't have any promotions happening right now. Networking events, that's if you're a premium user. Products and services, this is a great way to tell people about what it is that you do. And this is evergreen, so these don't they don't disappear after a certain amount of time. Gallery, again, adding, like, just treat it like a Facebook or an Instagram gallery of images. These are the recommendations that you've given to people. Business tools we use, I really don't see any value in that, but Alignable needs partnerships. So, and then recent activity. So if you're in groups, it's important to be active in your groups so that you start building some visibility. Some groups are based on industries, some are based on needs. One of the most popular ones is the Ask Small Business Owners Anything. In this group, there's probably over 200,000 members now. Yeah, 217, almost 218,000 members. It's a very active group. It doesn't have any specific theme. It's sort of open concept. But there are other groups that are specific to an industry or specific to a particular stage in a business. There's elevator pitches, there's startups, there's all sorts of stuff. And one of the best ways that I've grown my network is just going into the groups and answering questions and just giving back to the community. You know, that's what I fell in love with about Alignable. It's just such a culture of giving, and it's very authentic. And that's why I'm on Alignable like 24/7. It feels like it. Yeah. So that's all I've got. It's 101, and I want to respect your time. If you have any questions, always send me a chat message or connect with me offline. You can email me. You can, where's my information? You can find me in the directory, or you can just search me up. But you can also send me an email. I didn't put that in this slide deck, but it's len@quietcitydesign.com. And the last thing I want to say is upcoming events. Wednesday, December 6th is our Smart Connect. That's when we do our breakout sessions and we do one-on-ones for 6 minutes. Always a lot of fun. It's kind of like speed dating for networking. And then the next Business Booster session is on December 20th. And that's there's some information about that. I appreciate you sticking around for an extra couple of minutes. Kevin, thank you for sharing what you do. And
Thank you.
and I hope to see you at the next event.